Hey everybody, Larry Lawton here. I got a very important video I'm going to be doing today, and it's about the murder of an inmate by 4 guards in Dade County in Florida. And they've been indicted for second-degree murder. We're going to go into this case here in a little bit. Before I get started, please check me out on YouTube member programs, Patreon member programs, Discord, our podcast, The Real Deal with Larry Lawton is going great, and we're going to be talking about this case Monday as well, which is tomorrow. So we're going to really be delving into this case in a deeper way there, but I want to explain to everybody what is going on and why this case upset me so much. Cause I was beaten. I'm lucky I am alive. I am lucky I am here today. And I say lucky, and I don't know if it's I'm not a big believer in much, but I think it's fate. I think I needed to be giving these messages out to show people that people can change, number one. Now, let me explain the incident that happened. So if you haven't heard about it, and it's been all over the news, I had to do it. Again, it's in Florida. And they need to fix this shit because we don't have a prison system anymore. We have a torture chamber. We have a place where we just throw people and ruin their lives, let them go. Like everybody out there hasn't made mistakes. Everybody watching this video has made mistakes. Do you deserve to die for him? I don't think so. I don't know the whole case of the man they killed. He was in for murder, and I got that. He was an older man. Here's what jumped right out at me. Let me tell you the incident first of all. 4 guards in Dade County were allegedly, we're going to go to, are indicted for second-degree murder for beating an inmate to death. That's what they are indicted about. The person who indicted them is Kathleen Fernandez Rundell. I know her personally. She is the state attorney for the Dade County, one of the biggest counties in Florida. And I know her very well, and she is really a good woman, compassionate, follows the law. She's been the prosecutor in Dade County for many, many years. And I know her character. She wouldn't do this. She wouldn't indict people unless she knew she had the evidence. And she does. Because I'm going to go into some of the evidence they have or what they think they have. And I'll tell you what's going to happen. Right off the bat, and you're going to hear it first. And you can always hear it first right here on this video. You're going to hear it. And what's going to happen in this case, 4 guys, Christopher Rowland, 29, Kirk Walton, 34, and Ronald Connor, 24, plus 28-year-old Jeremy Goldblatt, were all indicted for second-degree murder, a whole litany of charges. Face charges including second-degree murder, conspiracy to commit second-degree murder, aggravated battery on an elderly or disabled person, and cruel treatment of a detainee, officials said. So those are the charges they have. Obviously, the second-degree murder one is the top charge, and I think, knowing this case, here's what's going to happen. Apparently, this guy, they have video of this. He threw urine on him. I understand how wrong that is, so I'm not going to sitting here, but anybody says you should die for that. I was in a prison cell, and you guys remember a video I did. I was in Lewisburg when my cellie and the whole tier I was on in J Block squirted the warden and everybody with urine and piss and shit during the gauntlet, they called it, and we all got beatings. We all got beatings. I got a beating even though I didn't do it. Now, even the people who did it, that they deserve to die, that they deserve to be executed. That's what it is when you got 5 guys come in and beat you to death. That's an execution. That is not a just sentencing. That's everything. I can't even get over. It blows my mind when I think about somebody getting beaten to death. Because, when I was in the hole and I was actually peed on by guards, spit on and beaten and broken ribs. I was so fucked up. I never thought I'd get out alive. And here I am alive and able to tell the stories, and I don't give a fuck. I want the warden, piece of shit Lamont. I want all these people to be held accountable for what they do. Now this facility, it's Dade Correctional Facility in Dade County. Obviously, if these guys are doing that, I think more people are doing it. I don't know what the warden's doing there, and I don't care what you tell me. They have to know what's going on. Unless it's an isolated incident, and I don't believe that for 1 second. I've been around too much. This incident happened in February. It took them up to now, a couple of months to investigate this thing. Obviously, if you and I killed somebody, we'd be either in jail or on bond while the investigation is still going on. But they weren't. But what makes this case even more interesting to me is the one guy, the last guy, 28-year-old Jeremy Godbolt is his name. He was picked up in LAX airport. Now, was he going to LAX to try to get across the border in Mexico, Tijuana, or wherever, get out of the country? All 4 of these guys now are denied bond. That's interesting because you only get denied bond for 2 reasons. You're either a flight risk or you're a threat to the community. I don't see how these guys are a threat to the community, but maybe they're a flight risk. Maybe this guy was heading out to Mexico and they thought all of them were going to do that when this happened. Well, they indicted them all. They have no bond at this point. I don't know what they're going to do after that, after another bond hearing. In this case, they have him on video. They have him walking out. Now, here's another thing. They said he's in the mental ward. That alone tells me you're fucking killing a fucking older gentleman or a mental case guy. Yes, he threw piss on him. He probably pissed in a cup. That's how it's done. It's not like you're pissing with your dick. Put piss in a cup and he threw it on him. I've seen it 1,000 times. Totally wrong. I would probably lose my shit. I remember, and you guys can remember this. Look, I'm getting chills. I got goosebumps when I talked about the case of me getting pissed on by guards telling me to stop writing senators. Yeah, keep writing senators, Lord. You think you got fucking people and they're peeing on me and spitting on me. My fucking whole fucking body's starting to fucking get mad. It's hard for me. This case has got me very agitated. And it's got me agitated because I'm going to follow it. I might even go down to this trial if there's a trial. I'll tell you why. Because it's happening so much around the country right now. We are at the worst part of I think it's even worse than when I was in. And you'd think it'd be better with cameras and everything they can do today. They can totally take this and eliminate this. There's ways to eliminate this. There is checks and balances to eliminate this. Obviously, we got to hire the right guards. People who, and be checked on. Are they mental themselves? You're talking about a 29-year-old, a 34-year-old, 24-year-old, and a 28-year-old. I don't know how long they've been in corrections, but for them to beat a man, an elderly man, beat him to death, because that's what they did. Here's what happened. They have a video of him coming out walking with the people. Then there's a blind spot. Now I'm going to explain blind spots in prison. And then there's another video after that of them dragging him into a van, his feet dragging, head down. That's a video. They put him in the van and he's being transferred. That's why they did that. So as he's being transferred, listen to this. They drive him 300 miles towards Ocala. That's where he's going. Up in Lakeland, he's going to another prison. And they're driving him alone in a van. You don't really see that too often either. Usually it's they wait for another person to go with you or drop somebody off in another prison, pick somebody up. They drove 300 miles and then they noticed he was dead in the van. That's how they found him. Now, I don't know who the driver of this van was because the driver of the van should have known this. They said he had beatings all over him. That's another thing, you're in there. As the driver of those vans, and I've been in those vans many times, you are shackled and cuffed, and usually if you stop, they give you something to eat, like a crackers or they'll have something like that because the drivers want to eat. That's a long drive, 300 miles. And now these guys, these two, usually it's 2 people in the van. You don't think they notice this guy? I mean, what is he, slumped over and he ended up having a punctured lung and he bled to death internally. So they beat him, put him in a van, probably said to their buddies, hey, take him, fuck, he threw piss on us, let him fucking Lakeland deal with his bullshit. And they even said in there, one of the guards said to them that he's going to fucking, incident said he's going to, he'll never pee on anybody again. Now, does that mean we just gave him a lesson? Or does that mean we killed him and put him in there? I don't know. You know, what happens in prisons is blind spots. And that's a weakness no jail or prison should have in today's world with cameras as cheap as they are. In Atlanta, when I was in Atlanta, there were blind spots. The guards knew about them. They knew where to beat you. They knew where to take you. We, as inmates, knew where to beat a fucking guy or stab a guy because there's blind spots. We knew that. So you can imagine them, they know exactly what's their buddies in the control booth. They know every camera angle in there. So now, let's get this guy. Because they have the camera footage there for. This is so cut and dry in my mind. How do you be walking normally, then you go past a blind spot, time stamped and everything. Get out of here, you are fucked up. Dragged into a van, feet dragging, head down, put in a van. Now they they find you they drive 300 miles, and I think those people, I don't know if they're the same. Usually the transport people aren't the guys that check you out. Normally when you go to a prison, you have to go to what they call R&D, receiving and discharge, every prison. So what has to happen is you go down to discharge. If you're going to another prison, you have to be taken out of that prison in the books. Everybody has to know where you are at all times. So there's no like, we didn't do it. Nobody checked them out. You have to be checked for anything you're carrying. You have to be shackled and cuffed. You have to be a whole certain way put in a van that you don't have anything on you. I mean, you can't escape. Now this guy has a life sentence, so he has to be processed out of that prison. And then when he gets to the next prison, he has to be processed in. Obviously, he couldn't be processed into this next prison because he's dead. They find him dead in the back of the van. Now, did they process him totally and fingerprint him and then put him in the holding cell? That has happened. And then the transport people come get you and bring it. But I didn't see chains on his things when they were bringing him out either. So I don't know. Maybe they put him on later or not. We're going to find all this out at a trial, hopefully. I don't believe, here's what I don't believe. I don't know what excuse either the drivers are going to have, the driver and the transport team are going to have for why this guy just ends up dead. And he's got beatings all over. He's beat up. I mean, you can tell when a person is beat up. So what are they going to say there? Well, we took him. First of all, they took him. They have to make sure he's normal. You wouldn't transport. If he went in the feds, the federal government took him. Every step of that way, now they fucking kill you too. But again, they get indicted. Every step of the way, the next person who takes him has to accept him as okay to take. Because even if a guy had COVID when it was going on, they wouldn't take him. Or if a guy has beatings on him, they're gonna send him to medical. You ain't getting on my bus. I'm not gonna get in trouble for fucking this guy. I don't know how that worked. So I don't know who was in that transport van. And if these guys were, or who was it, or was it a specific team that did this? They indicted 4 people. One they got in LA. That's why I think they were denied bond. I think maybe they think he was a flight risk and he was heading to Mexico some way. So that's my opinion on that. And this happened February 14th and they had a 2-month investigation. So that gives me time to think they know what's coming. All the people investigated, they know the tapes are gonna come out. So they kind of pretty much know what's going on. Now, these guards are going to come like, oh, he's a piece of shit, he should have died. Nobody should die for anything like this. Come on. Nobody should die for fucking being a mental person, if that's the case here too. If this guy's really mental, and he's in a mental ward, if these people are mental, do you have 0 heart that you're going to kill a mental person? He spit on you, he threw piss on you. He's mental. Listen, he's a mental case. I don't think a person should die because he's a mental case. And did the prison system make him mental? We don't even know yet. That's all going to come out. But this thing, when I saw this thing and I thought about who did it, and it was Kathleen Fernandez Rundell, I was really happy to see that because I know her and I know how good she is and I know how thorough she is. And she's one of the best that I've been around. Her, a guy named Dave Arenberg. These guys are very, very good at what they do. And they have compassion. They have compassion as well as they understand the law enough to say, listen, I'm not going to try to hurt somebody. I'm not trying to get people. They're not like a got you person. They're going to follow the law. The Florida Department of Corrections is having a lot of problems. You wonder why they haven't called me yet and say how. I tell them I can fix so many problems in the Florida Department of Corrections if they want them fixed. A big part of me believes they don't want them fixed, or they don't want to admit they have some problems. The first part of a problem anybody has is admitting you have a problem. Whether it's addiction, whether it's anything, you have to admit that you have a problem to get the proper help. Well, the Florida Department of Corrections, if they don't know they have a problem, then they're fucked up as it is, and the leadership should all be thrown out. Now, they've done that already. They've tried to throw the leadership out, and they got the same kind of people in. If not, I don't understand why an expert like myself is not called in and say, how can we fix certain things in the prison system if they want them fixed? Because I can fix them for no money. I could have fucking the private prisons pay for this shit that's going on. We can put it in contracts. There's so many ways to fix what's going on. They have to want it. That's number 1. Well, accountability, I don't know. So will this change the system? Or will it tighten the unions and tighten the people? And that, the next thing is come out, look at the conditions we live in. We working in it. You decided to become a correctional officer. Period. Nobody broke your arm. You weren't drafted. You decided to become a correctional guard. Then you have to understand what kind of environment you're in. You don't like it, quit. Listen, I get a lot of emails from former guards. A lot. Saying, Larry, boy, you speak the truth. And if you want me on, I'd like to come on. And a lot of them, will do that. Even current guards, but then they can't put their face out there. I'm going to start doing that. I think I'm going to do a few on the podcast, and I'm going to do a few here on video, because I think it's important now to do what we're doing. This is the guy who was Ingram who died, and reportedly threw urine on the officer. He was placed in handcuffs and removed from his cell in the mental health unit, at which point the officers began to beat him. The Florida Department of Law Enforcement said in a statement. Now, they're saying this. They're pretty good about that. The inmate was beaten so badly he had to be carried to the transport van, the agency said. Rundell said that witnesses recalled hearing another officer say that Ingram, who was serving a life sentence for murder, would never throw urine on another correctional officer again, meaning they beat him so bad, he's going to remember that. Well, they displayed the footage, and they showed everybody the footage of the before and after, which is crazy as it is. And also, according to Rundell, the officer beat Ingram sometime between the moments of captured on camera. So that's that dead spot I did talk about a little bit. Now, Ingram was placed in a compartment van alone during a stop in Ocala. And over 300-mile drive from Dade Correctional Institution, he was found dead, authorities said. The inmate's death was caused by a punctured lung leading to internal bleeding, according to Florida Department of Law Enforcement. He also had injuries to his face and torso, consistent with beating. The agency said the incident initially led the Florida Department of Corrections to place 10 officers on administrative leave. One officer also resigned over it, the department said. 4 were indicted for murder. I don't know how many are also fired, because you have to go through such processes to be transferred that there had to be somebody who saw something and didn't say something. The government comes up with the greatest line. See something? Say something. You're in an airport. See something? Say something. You're on the streets. You see something? Say something. They don't even fucking do it themselves. See something, say something means yourself. Now, is that ratting? Of course it's not. You're not talking about doing something, a crime, unless you guys conspired, which that's what they're in for, conspired to kill this guy. Say, fuck it, he's not worth it. Did it get that deep? I don't know. We're going to find out. But, if we want to clean this correctional system up in most states and most feds and everybody else, you need to really, 1, admit you have a problem, 2, get experts like myself or other people who are experts who I know, not the guards. Yes, they're part of a team. They don't understand how well I could put a team together to really correct this kind of behavior and hire the right people, put the right money up. It's not about saving money anymore. And if anybody says, well, yeah, it is. Well, what we have done already is, and this is sad enough, we have put a number on a person's head. Say, we can accept 10 murders a year and fire 3 people, and it's within our budget. Think of what I just said. When I was in prison, and an inmate died, and I get thrown in a hole for 11 months and beaten because I was exposing the inmate's death. So I go through all my shit, beatings every month, pissed on shit, everybody. I'm in the hole. I get out of the hole, and I don't give a fuck at this point at all. And a warden, comes up to me and says, hey, why are you doing this? And I said, why are you fucking abusing a guy with no legs? I did a whole bunch of articles on this in prison. And then at Chow Hall, I went up to a lieutenant and I said, you guys are fucked up. That's how I talked at that point. I didn't give a fuck. And he goes, hey, Lawton, the family will get paid. They have a fund for that. Think what I just said. The family will get paid. They got a fund for that. I look now at how blessed I am to have my 2 children, my son who works with me, and my daughter, love dearly, and my grandkids. I would never see them again, even if they got money, if they killed me. And I really thought I was going to die. So this case hit me so hard. And every time I read something, it's coming out, it's coming out, it's coming out. And it's driving me crazy because it's so vivid in my mind right now. The beating and how I was beaten by 5. Those 5 got 4 guys that rushed the cell. I didn't even know how many came in after that because I was out. Whether I was concussion grenaded, whether I was fucking maced, or whether I was fucking just beaten down. I mean, literally, you can't. I could fight. I don't give a fuck how good you think you can fight. You're in a small fucking cell and they'll all rush you with the shields and the shit. You ain't got a chance. You have no chance at all. Don't think you do. Guys, Bruce Lee shit. That Bruce Lee shit ain't working in that shit. I can tell you that right now. Let me tell you what's going to also happen. look, the staff involved in this case failed, and it ages you will not stand for this. What's going to happen? Who let this out? I don't know. We're going to find out. During the first court appearance, Roland, Walton, and Connor on Friday, Miami-Dade Circuit Court determined there was probable cause to hold him without bond. Walton's attorney, David, argued during the hearing that there wasn't any proof that the officer caused serious bodily injury to Graham. What are you going to consider serious bodily injury? Beaten marks and everything else? What, did he just fall? This is going to be a great trial I'm going to follow. They don't know about the other guy. Now, here's what I think is going to happen. I'm going to give you a summary real quick. First of all, some of those people, I don't know who it is, already either turned and gave statements and they know what happened. And either these guys are all going to take a plea deal and it's going to be kind of washed under the table, which I'm not going to like. But I think that's what's going to happen. Or they're going to have one guy testify just against the other and he's still going to go to trial. Try to beat it, saying he's being coerced, and they're going to open up the system. I don't know. I think once they are convicted, and I think they will be, and I honestly think they should be convicted federally. I think they should be convicted under a civil rights violation with disabled people, or mentally ill, beating a mentally ill, or an elderly mentally ill person. I think they should be they should be held federally in the case. They do that with cops when the cop did it in Georgia, and they did it and they were convicted federally. And so I think that can happen. I think in Florida, they can't go on any yard, obviously, after killing an inmate in a real prison. I don't know what level or they're going to go on, but with the violence of this, they should go to a maximum security prison. They won't, probably. They're going to be in a protective custody prison. Or out of state. Sometimes they'll bring people who might get killed, they'll put them out of state, but they'll be in the box for a long time. In the box, I mean the hole. Good. I want them to realize what they did to others. They're going to be in the hole. They're going to go crazy. They're going to lose their family. They're going to lose communications. And if things are done the same way, they're going to fucking have a hell of a life if they event, even if they get 10 years. It's a shame you're not going to see them get a life, which a lot of people say, if a person takes a life, they should get a life. Well, I'm not so much on that. I'm a lot about accountability. And I want to see this place all over the news because I want these people to be held up as this is what's going on. But don't call this an isolated incident, please. I don't want any correctional facility to say this is an isolated incident. It's not. It's been going on for years and years and years because nobody cares. And that's sad. I care. And if whatever platform I build, and that's what I do, I am going to expose as much of this as I can. I am going to go down to that trial in Miami-Dade. I will go down there and I will be in the courtroom and I'm going to get permission and I'm going to do what I can to really expose the bullshit that's going on. This is outrageous to me. This person, and listen, again, what he did was fucking disgusting. Totally. But he's mental and I get it. And I don't know what you do. You put a man in a cage for fucking all these years without any stimulation, you go crazy. Don't ever think you don't. Because I was there and I think I got crazy. I wanted to kill myself. I did things. Listen, I mean, my mind was so fucking, and I'm a strong-minded guy. But it happens. So this incident, everybody, you're going to hear more about. I think we should. I think Kathleen Fernandez Rundell is going to do a good job. I do believe in her, and I want to see it happen. And, I'll tell you what, when it happens, and if they can get me in there to testify on what happens in real prison, I'm willing to do that. Because I will tell you something. They're going to all flip. That's my thing. I even think this might not go to trial. They're going to end up taking plea deals. Part of me hopes one of them go to trial so we can really hear the bullshit. Because I don't want the Florida Department of Corrections to get off the hook that easy. I think this guy, the head of the Florida Department of Corrections, I don't know what he does, but he needs to be getting to the right people. Because if this shit keeps going on, you're not doing your job. And the governor should know this because we're really looking bad. Don't say you want to be tough on crime and do this because all you're doing is making people worse. Because anybody that gets out and gets beaten is going to go out and be a worse criminal than they were when they went in. That's a fact, guys. That is a fact. With that said, I think I fucking pissed myself off enough. You're going to hear a lot about this on Monday. Tomorrow, we're going to have a podcast, The Real Deal with Larry Lawton on all major podcasts. And I'm going to be talking about it with Benz. Definitely going to be talking about this case because it gets to me. And I'm going to be on it like fucking flies on shit. Check us out there. Please make good choices. Don't go to prison. Don't have to fucking endure any of this shit. You know, I understand tough times more than anybody. But you know what? You gotta make the right choice, and you all know what's right and wrong, so make them. Have a great day, everybody. Please stay safe, and I'll see you next video.